When it's those parents that have the colored hair and the trans bodies everywhere.
Yes, no. So see, the way that you distinguish between whether the child is actually trans or not is see if she have that blue hair. If she have that blue hair, then actually she's grooming the child and she should be put in the slammer for 50 years, if not given the death penalty. Okay, so many people have heard the names Buck Angel and Blaire White. If you don't know who they are two trans people. One is a trans man and one is a trans woman. And you'll see which one is which if you don't know already. But anyway, these two people, these wacky individuals, came together and decided to react to insane trans TikToks. So it should be an interesting time. This is the right's new favorite game, by the way. They just like pull up random TikToks and they're like, these are the crazy people that we're dealing with. These are all of the trans people. Look at all of these trans people, all 12 of them, and they're all the trans people that ever existed ever. And all of their opinions are those of all of the trans people ever, because that's a very normal and well-adjusted thing to do. So we're going to go ahead and take a look. But while we're taking a look, as I was about to explain to chat, you may notice in the bottom left corner something interesting. Now, what is this thing, you may ask? Well, this is what's known as a hyperfixation. And if you're not ADHD or autistic, let me learn you a thing or two. A hyperfixation is when you have an abnormal drive to pay attention to, watch, engage in something, right? Like, let's say, that guy, it can be a very, neurotypical thing to do as well. You might have a guy who's hyperfixated on football. And so basically all he does for 3, 4, 5 hours a day is play fantasy football, watch football on TV, watch reruns of football. And that's considered normal, I guess. But it's a little less normal when it's more niche, such as mixing together two Pokemon. Like this. I recently found a game called Pokemon Infinite Fusion, and I used to always fuse Pokemon because I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and now I'm hyperfixated. So I'll be doing that in the corner while reacting to this. You're welcome. I'm doing these two specifically because I checked the Discord and these two have not been fused yet. In case you didn't know, Pokemon Infinite Fusion has over 175,000 possibilities for Pokemon and their fusions, which is insane. So I'll be doing that in the corner while reacting to this. I hope you enjoy.
You're just mad because trans girls don't want to put trash like you in our designer bags.
So we just got hate crimes and I'm really excited about it.
Did you know trans women can breastfeed?
Not allowing a child to use puberty blockers is simply just transphobic.
True.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Buck Angel, obviously. No introduction needed. He's been on my podcast, we've done a collab on my main channel, and we've become such good friends.
Yeah.
I'll bet you have.
Yeah, it actually means a lot to me.
Me too.
Yeah, it does. I'm your dad.
Yeah, I call him Uncle Buck, but definitely like a dad.
Thanks, I hate it. What the fuck are you talking about? Ew.
I'm a dad. I feel a lot of I just feel a lot of love for you because you're willing.
Don't you mean male identifying mother? You fucking grifter piece of shit.
Put yourself out there, and you have for a long time. So I don't care what anybody says about you. I'm very protective of you, and I feel like what you do is so important for this community.
Oh yeah, totally.
I don't care what people have a problem with our relationship, because me and you have a relationship.
People love trying to get Buck to not be my friend.
I know, it's so funny. They're like, I can't believe you're friends with Blaire. I'm like, yeah, I am.
And if you're wondering about the setting, it's because I am currently in Los Angeles, down here to do some podcasts. We filmed a crazy debate on the No Jumper podcast, which... So I wanted to have Buck here because, first of all, anytime we get to collab is an amazing time. And obviously there's so much insanity within the trans community that we work so hard to correct and talk about because very few people within the community do. So yeah. This is no different. We're going to talk about some...
People are really out here saying that trans Chuchi is the inferior product. I'm sorry. We have the...
Wait, hold on, what? Chuchi?
I'm
Chuchi?
sorry. We have the designer, expensive, bougie coochie. Like, you're telling me if someone says, would you like this free paper bag that came with my groceries, or would you like this $35,000 bag? You're taking the designer Birkin, babe. Like, seriously, you're just mad because trans girls don't want to put trash like you in our designer bags.
Oh my god! What? That's the most misogynist?
No, sorry, actually, it's so misogynist. Fuck off. It's clearly a joke, first of all, and second of all, it's misogynist to be, transphobic, so there you go.
anti-woman thing I've heard
Right.
since yesterday.
Since yesterday. No, really, this is what I don't like. It's like, and I said this during our debate, and you'll see it on No Jumper. It's like, I feel like that if you want to transition to become a woman, step one should be learning how to respect women.
Thank you.
And I don't like how, transition, oftentimes people have this, they feel like they have to put biological women down to validate their own womanhood. It's like,
when does that ever happen?
To feel bigger about yourself by putting other people down.
When does that ever happen? What are you talking about? Like, this was done in a joking manner, okay? But misogyny's hilarious. Come on, it's funny.
It means that you're not.
But also, it's not misogyny because a woman was doing it to another woman, and therefore it can't be misogyny, right?
In your own space, and the fact that I've seen other trans women say that our vaginas are better than real, or not that they say real or whatever.
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead and say it. I'm
just like, well, why? What is the competition here? Why are you in competition?
There shouldn't be competition.
No.
And also, if we want to just talk about the logistics of it, is it really superior? I don't think so.
Well, it's different because I've had
different.
actual first-hand experience sexually with it. I have. And it's different.
Okay.
It's different. It's
I know a
totally
lot of
different.
them don't even self-lubricate.
No, they don't. It's
so how is that
different?
How is that superior?
And actually, the person that I had...
Wait, who cares if they self-lubricate? It's so weird how they hone in on these weird little things, these stupid little details that nobody gives a shit about. Dog, I don't give a shit if they self-lubricate. You know why? Because I get store-bought lubricant instead. Y'all are having dry sex out here? What the fuck is wrong with you? You're gonna give yourself rug burn. Jesus.
...experience with said that she wished that she didn't do that. And that her sex drive went down, and that she doesn't feel comfortable with it. It doesn't feel like anything, and she was just actually wished that she didn't do it. And that's my experience with it.
So I don't think a superior product comes with all these health consequences and possible side effects. It's
but the fact that you have to say that says everything.
Oh, I know.
It means that you're actually trying to make something that isn't really what you wanted it to be, as if it was what you wanted it to be.
Right. Well, that's that insecurity.
That's right.
Not
right.
really.
And, but then they'll say that we're the insecure ones in the
Dude, no, I talk about how I'm physically superior to pretty much every conservative who tries to say that white people are the master race or whatever. If you can't measure up to me, then you got a lot of work to do before you claim you're the master race. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just seems very odd to hone in on this. You know what I mean? If you can't grow your own vagina, store-bought's fine. That's true.
We're self-hating.
Store-bought
We don't have to put down biological men and women to be ourselves.
We would not.
Imagine if you had to be I'm more of a man than it's
I would be embarrassed.
What?
First off.
Right. If I sat up here and being trans bitches are better, then it's you know what? Maybe to some people who are attracted to that,
That's
absolutely.
Right. That's
but to
right.
say that as an absolute is kind of
no.
calm down. And why do they always have pink hair?
I don't know.
Can we take back colored hair? Because it used to be cool. I used to
be
love
cool.
it. I used to have
That's
pink
right.
hair.
That's
Insert
right.
picture.
Now you can't have it anymore.
How many trans people have you guys seen with pink hair? I feel like I don't see that often. I feel like if anything, trans people tend to have very natural hair colors usually. In fact, I'll go a step further and say trans women, people who identify as binary trans women, I'll bet that they have even higher rates of natural hair color than cis women do because they're trying to blend in. Now, if you're talking about non-binary people, you look at my girlfriend up there. She's got blue hair right now. She's the classic blue-haired SJW. So it's really the NBs, the non-binies that are, dyeing their hair.
I would never be caught up with pink hair now because I feel like people would think I'm
e-girls,
horrible. So here is one with these individuals who got hate crimed, supposedly, and they're excited about it.
Wait, okay.
Look at the person.
Another
It's
red
always
hair?
funny to just look at the
Jesus.
person before
I
you
love
decide.
hate crimes.
So we just got hate crimed and I'm really excited about it. So the way that we travel is that Alice will hang onto the back of my chair while we move. So we're a little train. And someone fully saw us going past and yelled out from his car, "Cripple!" And we were yeah! It's never happened like that before. I get called a fat piece of shit all the time. Alice has all this transphobic rhetoric towards her, but it's never been just so blatant, and we're both just really chuffed that it's finally happened.
Okay, well that just says everything.
Imagine it says
Wait, I don't understand. You're going to be more upset that this person is acting this way than the fact that they literally had a slur thrown at them? They were hate crime, they kind of, right? They were insulted at least. You can at least say they were insulted based on a demographic. But I don't know. It's weird to me that they're more angry at this person for saying this than they are at supposedly the person who yelled at them. You know what I mean? It's just odd. Lady's insane, but Blaire White and Buck Angel are just stereotyping. Yeah, I don't again, they're just nitpick, they're cherry picking TikToks. This is the favorite game of the conservatives, to make the entire the entirety of the left look like they're insane.
Has everything, and you can speak to this because,
But also, like, I just don't care that much.
and I can as well. But this is the new.
Like, who is she
trans
hurting?
That getting hate crime is something to celebrate, and TikTok and whatever, and get clapped from. Do you think Matthew Shepard?
Yeah, thank you.
Was happy about getting hate crimes?
Thank you. Oh
It's
my God.
disrespectful.
I grew up I'm 60. I grew up in a time where no one cared about us. All my friends died of AIDS. They got put into a...
Yeah, and now you're, in your 40s or 50s or whatever, and now you're adding to that fire. So that's cool.
Unit because they had AIDS, which was like this weird thing that no one wanted to touch us, and like I got my ass beat by here, right down the street, by guys following me in trucks with baseball bats and kicking my ass. This is not something you want to celebrate. We work to get away from this. It's as if they want this hate crime so that they can say, "Look, I'm a victim." That's exactly what they're doing.
This is where society is. It's like there's actually a demand for victimhood now. There's a demand for hate crimes in people's mind because she's so excited because it justifies her entire ideology.
That's true, but also I'm not gonna say leftists don't do it, but conservatives I've seen do it way more. I'm just saying.
Ideology is built around victimhood, but she knows in her heart that it's never actually happened to her. She's never actually been a victim. She knows in her heart of hearts that she's...
But you don't know that. You have no clue who this person is. What the fuck are you talking about? Obviously, there's a demand for victim blaming. I mean, yeah, the conservatives love doing that. Buck is 60. Oh, well, not gonna lie, I wouldn't have put him at 60. Looks pretty damn good for 60.
She'll live where she lives, but finally she got some pushback, and she's like, I'm so excited.
No, that's the entitlement. That is the actual entitlement of living in this space these years, where all of the people before me and you fought to get us into a space where we could walk down the street without being beat up or having the words, fat and queer and whatever the heck, tranny or whatever you want to call it, spewed at us. And this person is celebrating it?
Disgusting.
Wow.
I mean, when I tell you, Buck, it's like, as we're like talking about this, I'm thinking about being in like 5th grade and have...
Notice, by the way, the focus is on the person here in this image rather than the people who are actively doing the hate criming, right? I'm just saying.
Like,
interesting choice to focus
high school
on.
Kid like bust me in the nose.
If it's like that much of an insult.
And just getting jumped and all the shit that I went through as a kid, and it's like the fact that this fat is so excited about being hate crime. Tell me you've never experienced hatred or violence in your life without telling me you've never experienced hatred or violence.
Right on.
And it's disrespectful because our community... I say the word community, and I try so hard to hold on to the community. I really try to, because I do have hope that someday there can be. Yeah. But it was built off the backs of people who really suffered actual hate crimes, and it wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
This is the picture of where
entitlement. The entitlement. They don't even know they have.
So this person has actually made hate TikToks.
I just don't get why they care so damn much.
So we'll see.
Great.
This is Cypress. And Cloud mentioned not having people...
Funny that we're watching this while I'm making a fusion of the trans Pokemon. Blaire White literally cucked herself to an actual Nazi on a panel a while back, but she gets to commentate on hate crimes and hate speech. Of course, no. This is like I said, this is the conservatives' favorite game. They love playing this game. I mean, like we just watched Candace Owens. Think about this. When was this released? 9 days ago? Okay, Candace Owens, to be fair, right? Candace Owens probably said the thing that she did. And, this is a different video, but Candace Owens probably said the thing that she did, like, before that video was released. So, or after that video was released, I mean. So, so this is from today. So, fair enough. But, I'll bet that not a word about Candace Owens has come out from her yet. So, yeah, 6 hours ago, the grifter who tricked Elon Musk and the right. So, yeah, no, she's still doing propaganda for the right. Trans age is now a thing. Addressing my controversial Joe Rogan clip, which we watched on stream. That's also grifting for the right. The Balenciaga rabbit hole, it's way worse than you think. Also grifting for the right. Reacting to woke dating profiles, cringe. Also grifting for the right. So yeah, given the pattern, I doubt that she will say a damn thing about Candace Owens literally saying...
So I'm just going to come right out and say this because it needs to be said. I have such great contempt for trans individuals and everything that they are doing. Right?
Not clip chimped. That she's just saying that. But no, let's go ahead and pick on this girl who's probably in her teens still with a gigantic nose ring who decided she was going to celebrate being called a slur or something. I don't know. But we'll give her some time, We'll give her some time to come out against what Candace Owens said there.
clown self-pronouns for
Who
clown.
knows?
And so in this situation,
What?
I would make sure that I exclusively use clown pronouns to
Yeah,
talk about
figured.
Cypress. So
Fitting.
Cypress knows that I see
Who's Cypress?
for who clown is.
Are they actually talking in the third person? Oh my god. Wow, they're literally talking in the third person. Actually, it's you. Holy crap. Oh my god, people, I beg of you, we need to reinstate mental health care. This is
We're in
out
a
of
mental-
control.
What? Reinstated? What do you mean reinstated? It's always been dog shit in this country. It's gotten marginally better over the past few decades, but it's still nowhere near where it should be, and it probably won't be for a very long time. But what do you mean reinstated? Oh, he means asylums. Oh, no, that makes sense now. They're just saying we should put trans people in asylums. That's cool.
Health crisis.
We are in a mental health.
Although, to be fair, I don't think that this person is like, is this person trans? It doesn't fucking matter. I don't agree with asylums. Period. End of story.
Who speaks in the third person about themselves
As a clown.
as a clown?
You know what I hate? I hate when I see this is like one instance where like you know you see people now say it and itself.
Yes.
That to me, like y'all know I'm the last person to cry transphobia or like clock things. However, the only
Yeah, I
thing I'm
know,
ever
believe me.
like I don't like when people
Certainly not when Candace Owens literally just says, I don't like trans people.
it
That's
for any
right.
reason. It's like when actual transphobes are like it, it's like how are you gonna take away someone's personhood, them being a human being? So it's like when I see people being like
It's about calling somebody what they prefer to be called. That's all it's about. You know, it doesn't really go much deeper than that.
clown and clowns of it itself. It's like, why are you making your entire existence a joke like that? As much as I do believe you're behaving like a joke, you are a human being and you should at least assert some sort of respect for yourself.
Oh wait, but they don't. That's not their objective. Their
Right.
objective is to continually push this boundary of I can be whatever I want to be. You know?
Yeah, it's good to push that boundary, actually. Humans have always been pushing that boundary. One day a guy said, hey, I want to be somebody who can fly. And everybody around him was like, that's stupid. People can't fly. And then he built a fucking plane. Hello?
I remember when that was a slur. You know, I'm all about reclaiming slurs. You know, I use tranny all the time, and you know, whatever other word that I choose to use.
Probably
but at the
hatefully,
same
if I had to
time,
guess.
it is not necessarily something that is so reclaimable on some level. Everyone wants to call us
Invest
its.
in my-
Yeah.
I know,
People think
right?
of us as its.
Yeah,
Like, I could do
as
it.
a human being. It's
Yeah.
like that's not cool to take away someone's, sentience.
No, that's
It's
right.
like,
Like, where the fuck is all their grifter money going?
but these people, it's like again, we will always be the villains.
Yep.
Despite what we're saying is like, please just respect yourself.
That's right.
Like how are we the villains when we're like respect yourself, respect others, and everyone just get along, and we're
It's not that, but they try to have that same message.
How are we the villains when we're telling people actively that they're not allowed to do the things that they want to do? How does that make us the villains? How does that make us the villains? I don't know. One day a guy put on deodorant and the women were like, hey, this dude doesn't smell like Satan's taint. I know, right? Wow, you actually smell breathable. I feel like I won't suffocate on your fumes. That's crazy.
Diversity, inclusion, all it's a big lie because how
It
come
is.
we don't get to be part of the
You know what?
community?
One day a
And
guy
we're
decided
we're-
he will
we-
not
We have
smell
a
like
different
ass.
way of thinking. That's diversity.
And
But
that
you can't
offended
have
me
it. So
personally.
that's why I keep saying don't let people pull you into that diversity inclusion stuff because it's not real. It's an actual.
it's fake.
It's fake.
It really
Oh
is.
my god, it's exhausting.
I know.
Did you know trans women can breastfeed? And this is great news because I always wanted to breastfeed, but I thought like my dry tits would give the kid an eating disorder. Kid just grows up and he's chronically sucking down the nozzles of yogurt.
Yes, trans women can breastfeed. Yes, that's not even like debatable. That's just a thing that can happen. Yeah.
Be like, sorry, that one's my bad. Also, you might not know this about trans women. Our tits are really far apart. And I would have fun with that. I would just have a baby on each tit in the middle of a door jam and be like, look at her go. She can breastfeed 2 babies in 2 different rooms.
Oh yeah, someone's giving you a baby. Oh my god, that is.
What do you mean? Was that an ugly joke or was that a I don't know what kind of joke that was. For some reason I took it as an ugly joke at first. But like yeah, like it's a funny joke. I think this lady's a comedian. Yeah, like what the fuck? Like they're literally taking a comedian and be like, wow, really? Wow, really? Wow, really? Wow, really? Wow, really? It's like dog, they're literally making a joke. Yeah, no, it's great.
It's actually child
Why are we
abuse,
reviewing
and
this
that
again?
is actually sick, weird, twisted shit. This is why people don't like us.
Why are
And
you
they think we're a
fantasizing
predator.
about breastfeeding?
That's predatory.
No, people don't like us us, sorry, I shouldn't say us. People don't like trans people because they're fucking insane.
Behavior.
And
you're not
also,
helping.
it's a lie.
It's an actual
They're like,
lie.
no, they're right. Actually,
Here-
they should hate us. Actually, they have reasons to hate us. Actually, guys, trust me, bro.
And we talked about this in the car earlier. Literally, we should start filming.
Maybe they
all
have
our
a
car
point.
rides and everything, because the real videos are when we're just like hanging out. But we were today. I was talking about this concept of like trans activists and LGBT activists in general. They tend to go with half truths and try to make them the whole truth. So this whole trans woman can breastfeed thing. Here's what actually happens.
Right on.
When you're on hormones for long enough, as a trans woman, if you're consistent with it, you can secrete milk in the sense that fluid can come out and it resembles breast milk. However, all those like borderline magical, enzymes and immune
those
properties
weird
and all
things
of the
that
verbiage
scientists
that exists that
say.
I'm not coming to my mind right now. That is, making it so this new life can be healthy and exist in the world without like getting a cold and dying. All those beautiful properties that women create while they're pregnant.
Yep.
We don't have those.
Nope.
Because we're not biologically women, never will be, never could be.
Yeah, guess what else doesn't have those? Fucking formula. Formula doesn't have that. Okay? Suck my dick.
At least not with modern science. Maybe modern science, you'll be able to breastfeed, but guess what? We're not in there.
Okay, maybe in 50 or 70 or 100 years,
Right.
it will be a different. But,
But
we're living in this actual moment.
Yeah, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen.
Until then, what's going to happen? This crazy cockeyed bitch adopts a baby and then is like breastfeeding this kid, first of all, and then second of all, they're not getting any nutrients from it, and then it's just like, what? It's just so sick.
They're sick. And it actually looks insane.
I mean, you can see in the eyes. Look at the, like, it's just crazy.
No, it's not cool, because we as trans people want to have kids. I have a kid. It's important that we actually get to have
I feel so bad for that kid.
families and have kids. But we don't lie about, you know what I mean? I didn't make a baby with my partner. I adopted a baby.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't have a baby because I had a hysterectomy, but that being said, I can't make my partner pregnant.
Right.
We have to figure out ways to do that, right?
And lying is a disservice to trans people as well.
That's right.
Because why would you want young, impressionable trans people who are...
There was no lie told here. All she said was that that trans women can breastfeed babies, which is objectively true. There are some men who can breastfeed babies. I got news for you. Men can lactate too. Yes, that is correct. The hormone used to produce breast milk, prolactin. If you give men, now this isn't like true of all men. There's progestins, yeah. There are some people obviously on whom it will not work, but like you give progestins to people that's supposed to stimulate milk production. Now, if it were that simple, we wouldn't have women who simply can't breastfeed, of course. But then again, we have women who can't breastfeed, don't we? Cis women who cannot breastfeed. So what do? They're not being canceled by, the grifters over here. They don't get any flack. They just feed their kids formula and everybody goes on their merry way, right? But no, God forbid, right? I don't know. It's just stupid.
watching your crazy ass TikToks. I
That's
think
right.
that's on the table for them.
That's right.
Like,
Great
why?
point. Great point. Yeah,
Same
why?
with
I
all
have
the
a problem.
period stuff. It's like, why are you trying to convince people they can have it? It's like,
But
it doesn't
why?
make
Why do you
sense.
think that is? Do you think that having a period it makes you a woman? Is that why they're saying it? Like that is
Yes.
the epitome of being.
No, you all fucking think that. You all literally think that. In fact, I'm pretty sure Buck Angel himself has said, like, I don't lie about my anatomy, quote unquote. I still have periods. I'm still a woman, etc. Right? Or maybe he doesn't anymore because he's 60. But you get my point. Like, that's literally what TERFs always talk about. Trans women will never experience periods. Like, whenever a trans woman says, I'm having my period, they're like, and they lose their goddamn minds like fucking somebody shot them. Like, it's ridiculous. By the way, when trans women say that, yes, they can have menstrual cycles. Correct. They can have menstrual cramps because that's what hormones do to you. Okay? Just because you're not actively... People are so fucking stupid. Just because you're not actively bleeding out of an orifice in your body doesn't mean that the hormones are not having that effect on you. Like, the hormone itself causes those effects, not the bleeding, okay? It's just so stupid. These people don't understand biology one bit, even though they tout it like they took 10 years of it in college.
I think that a lot of trans people, and I don't know what it is about you and I that we don't like source validation
Knock it off,
from
Winry.
that weird
Right.
I think it's just a personality trait, I guess. I don't know. But, like, a lot of them are like, if I don't have every aspect of womanhood, then that means that I'm invalid or that I don't belong or that I'm not a woman. And my whole thing is, like, there's beauty in just being a trans woman. There's beauty in being in that own lane.
Excellent.
And so as much as people want to say that I'm always degrading trans people, I actually think that if you can...
You're literally actively doing that as we speak.
A trans person, own it, stand in that, there's so much power in that. You know, I don't need to convince myself I can have a goddamn period to feel confident about my life and where I'm going and where I'm headed.
Those people are actually doing a disservice.
Trans women do not think that they're bleeding. They're not under any illusions as to what's happening with their body. Who the fuck chose to marry that miserable man? Hey, listen, as bad as he is, imagine being married to Matt Walsh. Well, then again, you did say chose, and that's an important distinction there.
To us.
Yeah.
They are lying to the world, which what happens now? The acceptance of LGBTQ people is down more than ever. And now all these laws are passing across the country.
Yeah, and what are you doing? You're sitting here shitting on LGBTQ people. All right? This isn't their... Oh, what? You think that this woman doesn't make this TikTok? And then the conservatives are all suddenly like, wow, actually... maybe the transes aren't so bad. You know, no, don't be delusional.
Anti-trans, everything. Right. Why do you think that's happening? Not because of me and you.
It's called a pendulum swing.
That's right.
And it's the thing that I've been warning about since the beginning of my career, but no one ever heeds what
Yeah,
Blaire
blame
says.
the transes.
It's always just...
You're not in the herd.
Right, I'm always the crazy one,
That's
right? Whereas since the beginning, I was like, keep doing this.
That's right.
And guess what's going to happen?
That's right.
And now you have in Oklahoma, I talked about it on my podcast this week, go check it out. In Oklahoma, there's now a bill talking about they want to make it so that 26 and under can't transition. And it's
That's not okay.
We have now gotten to the point where the reaction to all this insanity could possibly start affecting adults, at least in Oklahoma right now. And it's
and what are you doing about it?
Whose fault is that?
What are you talking about now? What are you talking about now? You ain't talking about that.
It's... The legislation is there. They have some part to blame, but also I'm not going to pretend like it's not.
What? They have some part. They're making the law. What? They listen. The people who made the law have some hand in the law. The law being made. Like, dog. What are you on? What the fuck? What? Yeah, no, it was this person's fault. Random trans TikToker number 367 talking about how her tits are so far apart she can breastfeed in 2 rooms. Clearly joking. No, it must be her fault.
And not to say like this, pushing people to have a reaction.
We have been able to freely do what we did prior to TikTok existing.
And it helped us dramatically, specifically us as individuals.
That's right. That's right.
And, you know, it's just, everyone's crazy.
It's actually scary, and it's just putting us back a million years. So I hope all your followers can see what we're trying to say, or what, you know, they do. That's why they watch it.
Our people do.
Yes, they do. But these
the
people
good
need to wake up.
transes.
They're really destroying.
Trust me, guys. I'm one of the good ones.
But also a big problem, and we'll talk about it. I mean, the person that we just had on the screen is so genuinely crazy, and you can see it in their eyes. But the fact that any doctor would operate on this person or tell this person that they could really go through life as a woman.
Yeah, no. TikTok was really when the downfall of trans people started. You all know that? Like, trans people were doing great till TikTok showed up. Let me tell you something.
Why are you misleading these people?
Money.
TikTok really fucked up everything for everyone.
Gotta be, because we used to have to go through mental health care before we got to that space.
And you know what?
Oh, no,
it's only
not that one.
I know. You know what? It's only by the grace of, I don't necessarily believe in God, but the grace of God as an expression that, you know, I ended up okay with everything that I've done, because I didn't have to go through mental health care. I didn't have to go through anything. I had a 30-minute doctor appointment in which I walked in and then out with an estrogen prescription. And, you know.
I highly doubt that. And by the way, let's take her at her word and say that's true. That's not standard procedure. Okay, that doctor went against standard procedure. We can have a discussion about whether or not I believe that should be the case, which I don't, by the way. It is a big decision. But I guess with surgery more so than with hormones, because you can just like stop taking hormones, you know, like before they ever have a chance to take effect on your body. But like, no, it does not happen like this. You ask literally any trans person besides these 2 fucks, and they will not tell you the same story. The number of hoops they have you jump through would make fucking Shamu blush, okay? I don't know if Shamu actually ever jumped through hoops, but you know.
I was an adult, but still, it's like there should be more safeguards than that. So if anything, you know, I lucked out.
On some level, but I think you truly are in that space. And
I'm truly transgender, but it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was referred to 5 different endocrinologists, and I literally never got legit hormones. Yeah, why are you taking Blaire White's fucking word for it? Like, I have magnitudes more trans people in my community that I could ask. Like, what the fuck? Like, why would I take her word for any of this?
Doctor didn't know that.
No, that's right, but that's the problem why we're having so many detrans.
Right.
They went through that same
Which we're
system.
not, by the way. That's another lie that they're pushing. We just have a lot of very vocal and very visible detrans people. And when I say a lot, I mean like 3 of them that show up to every fucking goddamn meeting across the country because there's only 3 of them. All right? Like that's what we mean when we say a lot.
So I just had to call out sick from work because I've had these awful, unexplainable stomach cramps.
Take a
What?
Hope that I'm sick because, I've been on hormones for a year and I've heard people say that this is around the time when they start getting like period cramps. And if I have to deal with this once a month, I am going to be so upset. I don't have 12 sick days a year. I'm just gonna have to power through.
FYI, women don't call in sick for their periods. They actually go to work and power through.
They power
Pregnancy, periods, all of it. They don't call in sick for work.
Right.
So,
Okay. I think you should be able to. Like, don't you think that if you're feeling like dog shit that you should be able to call in sick? Yes, trans women get cramps when they're on hormones. Informed consent for feminizing hormone therapy. Yeah, there you go. The expected effects, changes that will be permanent, changes that are not permanent, risks and possible side effects. You agree to take androgen blockers and or estrogens only at the dosage and in the form that your medical provider prescribes. Inform your medical provider if you're taking or starting any. By signing this form, you acknowledge you have adequate information and knowledge to be able to make a decision about hormone therapy and that you understand the information your medical provider has given you. Based on this information, I choose to begin estrogen. I choose to begin taking androgen blockers only. I do not want to begin hormone therapy. And then you sign it. Right there, black and white. Fenway Health Consent Form for Feminizing Therapy. That's what they all go by, basically, if not more stringent than that. That's actually one of the more lenient ones that I've seen. But you have to sign off that you understand all this shit, okay? And they're not trying to trick you. It's all right here. I'm sorry, but we're understaffed, so I'm going to need you to come in and have nausea while preparing the food. True. That is very true. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I hope that my cook gets sick all over my food. It's awesome when that happens. Estrogen can affect the body in various ways, and transgender women may experience several side effects while taking supplemental estrogen. Anecdotal evidence suggests that transgender women experience PMS or PMDD-like symptoms at the same time each month. However, researchers have not studied this area of transgender health. Emotional and psychological experiences. Irritability, tiredness, sleeping too much or too little, appetite changes, anxiety, rapid changes in mood, loss of interest in sex. Physical experiences, swollen or tender breasts, bloating, cramping, headaches, gastrointestinal syndromes such as nausea, appetite changes. There you go. It seems like we're not entirely sure on the physiognomy of it yet, like the physiology, I guess. It's hormones messing with the body, not an actual period. No, it's not an actual period, no. Estrogen/progesterone hormone imbalance cause bad cramps. Yeah, like hormones have all kinds of wacky effects, okay? We don't fully understand them. And that doesn't mean we shouldn't prescribe them, by the way. We don't fully understand hardly any of the shit that we give people. But they work. That's why they give them. We're in sing mode. Back to the video.
You don't even know what you're talking about.
And right, so even if we're going to pretend like you're getting your period, okay, you're a woman now, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Go to work.
Go to work with your period. Through. And let me see your bloody tampon.
Can you sing the symptoms? Oh, fuck, fine. Some transgender women report emotional and psychological symptoms similar to those of PMS. The Office on Women's Health note that these symptoms can include irritability, tiredness, sleeping too much or too little, appetite changes, anxiety, rapid changes in mood, and loss of interest in sex. Both progesterone and estrogen can cause irritability and rapid mood shifts. Estrogen injection can also cause other symptoms, including anxiety, because they lead to high fluctuating levels of estrogen. Yeah.
It would be poopy.
I can't let that one have to poop.
Literally, like...
No, but look, I'm sorry, but...
Let me ask you this. When people get their limbs chopped off, why do they still have pain in the limbs that are chopped off? They don't have those limbs yet, or anymore. So why do they still feel pain in their right hand when their right hand is no more? Their right hand is in the ground, you know? Yeah, phantom pain. Yeah. So I'm not saying it's fake. I'm saying that in a lot of ways, that's kind of what it is, right? That's why it's called like dysphoric disorder or whatever. It's like a somatic pain, kind of. Now, we don't know to what extent that it's somatic and to what extent it's like the hormones themselves. We just don't know. We think that it's a little bit of both. And that's all we know right now. And until we study it further, that's, we have to go off of subjective experiences. But they had them at one point. That's fair. But at the same time, I do think that I'm not trying to compare them one to one, but there is something to be said about that. You know what I mean?
Face is smirking when she's talking.
She's
about
loving
it. Because she's loving it.
And they never brush their teeth.
I keep talking about this one little part. What am I gonna do?
They're like delusional.
Right.
They're literally delusional.
It always blows my mind when I see trans people who don't brush their teeth. Just on a side note, I'm a teeth person.
Me too.
When I see trans people who don't brush their teeth, I'm like, so you're gonna get all this done. You're gonna get all this done. Not that this person has got anything done, but like in theory, trans people get a lot of stuff done, right? It's I've got a lot done. It's like I'm gonna ignore my teeth.
My teeth don't matter. They're rotten.
So I'm gonna get implants. I'm gonna get Botox, but I'm not gonna brush my teeth. Anyway, I just
it's
sick. And
how many views does that thing have?
4.2 million. So I hate that this has to be said, but public service announcement: trans women don't get periods. It's actually one of the few pros of being a trans.
That's
it's one of the things that I'm like, actually, that's pretty cool. You don't have to.
You don't want. I had my period.
Why would I want one?
You don't want it. Trust me. 1 month on.
Women don't want one.
No, women don't. No woman celebrates their period.
Okay, it's not about wanting it. Y'all aren't even listening to the fucking people's subjective experiences. Let me tell you guys. Okay, here's a good example. When we talk about people with schizophrenia, right? People with schizophrenia often see and hear things that are not there. They've never heard or seen these things before in real life, usually. So why do they see and hear these things that are not there and never have been there? Often things that are even impossible to see or hear. Why does that happen? They could have like zero trauma and that can still happen to them. Why? We don't know. But we're not going to sit there and tell them that they're not seeing or hearing it. We're not going to tell them that they're not experiencing those things, because that's called a subjective analysis, okay? Or a subjective assessment, I should say. The subjective assessment consists, and I've talked about this, by the way, with Eggsy Lanzik when I was having that horrific debate with her, in which I completely obliterated her, and she had to make a 5-part video series detailing why she actually won, bro. I swear, bro. And I told her, we have to look at subjective experiences in order to understand the person's symptoms, in order to understand what they're going through. We can't feel their pain. We can't get into their heads or their bodies and feel that, okay? We can't. So, we have to take them at their word. Could they be lying? Sure. But I'm not going to sit there and tell you that you're lying if you tell me you're in pain and I'm your fucking nurse. That's just not something that I do. Okay. Are they lying for attention? Maybe. But why is this, again, more harmful than Candace Owens saying outright that she does not like trans people? I don't understand. Help me understand. It's weird.
They're trying to get pregnant or whatever there's going on. But no woman walks around, I got my period.
And again, this is the half truth. There's always a half, sometimes a quarter, a tenth of a truth that these people do. So the half truth, or the fraction of the truth of this, is that it has been said, and I think I've kind of noticed within myself, that you get hormonal fluctuations on hormones, but that's
different,
normal, and that's not a period.
Nope.
You don't have a uterus to have a period. Nope. You had a hormonal fluctuation? Cool. I doubt you even did.
Hi, my name is Samuel, and I am a canine Therian. But what does this mean? A Therian is somebody who identifies as wholly or partially non-human, specifically as a non-human animal from this earth. Now, there are other forms of non-humans, and a person could identify as being non-human for a plethora.
Wow, I've heard of so many people who do this. Have you guys heard of this new therianthropy? It's literally everywhere. I've seen it everywhere. I've seen it even in the kids' schools. The teachers are now teaching this to your kids. They're putting them in animal outfits, alien animal outfits, actually, from Mars. And they're forcing them to shit in litter boxes, right? That's where we're going with this, right? Come on, just get it over with. Just hit me with it. To be clear, this is clearly not, normal behavior or whatever. But again, it's just not prevalent. It's not that prevalent. Okay?
Illogical.
And of course, this comes from libs of
TikTok.
Certain that it was so here's the thing. I put this one on so that, do you feel like trans should be an umbrella where we're also including identifying as other, or should it just be?
That's why I said.
Okay, so this is how they do their non-binary hatred. They're I'm not saying that this person is like every other non-binary person, but trans is an umbrella term. You can be trans and an identity that does not align with, as long as you're not the identity that was assigned to you at birth. You can be trans if you're non-binary, or if you're trans female, or if you're trans whatever gender, it doesn't matter. Like if you're identifying as a gender that you were not assigned at birth, that technically qualifies you as trans, you know?
That's why I separated from it and I call myself a transsexual.
Oh, that's great, August Dexter.
I'm pretty I'm a binary.
Especially considering my partner is non-binary.
Trans person who wants to go from living as a female to living as a male. There's no mixing anything there. The transgender thing has been hijacked.
Is this the same people who go to Pride and wear like the dog masks?
Yeah. No.
So they actually identify as dogs?
Oh no, they identify as dogs. They actually do. And I think that's a form of mental illness, 100%. And I think that we are glorifying it and acting as if it's normal.
I really don't think most of them literally identify as dogs.
That is not normal behavior. And there's something wrong with that. And we need, and I'm not saying it's, here's what I want people to know though. Mental illness is a real thing. And we don't need to stigmatize it by saying, oh, we need to help people not be in this space of just, they're spinning out. This person.
Here's the problem whenever anybody disingenuously talks about helping people with mental disorders. And it is disingenuous because it's never about actually maximizing the person's happiness and well-being. It's always about getting rid of the behavior, right? It's never about the person's personal preferences, their own well-being, what's going to make them happy and help them function in a regular society at the end of the day. It's always about getting rid of a behavior. And that's the difference. That's not mental health care. That's just bigotry.
And also, with this technology, it's giving people platforms to get some kind of recognition or some kind of validation. That's the thing. So we're seeing it at such a high rate because they're getting validation for it.
And fatherlessness.
Well, that too.
If this person had a dad...
I agree. There's something with the family.
If this person had a dad, they would not be on TikTok talking about, I'm a dog.
That's right.
Because your dad would...
I wonder if there was, ways that we could get fathers back into the homes that conservatives are actively keeping us from doing. Gee, if only there were a few of those.
Like, what's
going on?
Yeah.
No, the family unit has been destroyed.
So shout out to everyone who identifies as whatever the... We are not the same. Hashtag we are not the same.
We are not the same.
Let's just not.
Not allowing a child to use puberty blockers is simply just transphobic. It just is what it is.
True.
There's no real reason not to.
What's nuts is that they opened with this clip. This is the most sane take so far, and they opened with this clip. They thought that this was their hook. You know what I mean? Which says something.
Really?
Puberty blockers just
no
allows
reason.
The child to kind of freeze, allows their look to freeze, to stay in place. It gives them more time, essentially, to decide whether they want to go further with any medical transition. At any point while using puberty blockers, a child can stop.
And then what?
Right.
And then what? So she's totally lying. That's not true.
It's so sad.
Wait, you stop puberty blockers and then you progress through puberty like a cis person, right? You progress through puberty like a person would. Like if they were not on hormones, that's what happens. That's what happens. I feel like that's pretty common knowledge.
Because now you have, obviously, Lupron is the puberty blocker. Now you have the FDA saying, it causes brain swelling and this and that. It's like...
That's right.
By the way, once again, and I stress this, the brain swelling study, a singular study, that found 6 people, six kids, 5 of which were diagnosed with precocious puberty, which is a underlying factor. So only one transgender child who was on puberty blockers, one out of the many thousands, came down with this mysterious brain swelling. And they're not even sure whether or not it's related to the puberty blockers themselves. They don't know because it's a singular trans person. And the other 5 were all diagnosed with precocious puberty, which once again is an underlying factor that could have caused the condition. This is a false claim that they use. They will continue to use it because they don't care that they're lying pieces of shit. And they'll do whatever they can to stop medical progress for trans people because they hate them. It's HRT on children that needs way more research. Oh, yeah, sorry. I thought you were referring to puberty blockers. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, no. They are giving HRT younger and younger, which I'm not sure about. I would have to look into to form a solid opinion on it. Certainly we'll need more research. Hopefully we can reach a stage where we don't have to have the in-between step. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe we can just hold off puberty until people are fucking 18 and then they can decide. Like, that'd be great. I think that'd be awesome, I want people to be older when they make big permanent decisions. You know what I mean? Like, I want that. But unfortunately, puberty really don't wait on us unless it does with puberty blockers, right? Like I've said this before, it's a fucking miracle of nature that we even have them. And these heathens want to stop us from having scientific medical progress that make people's lives better.
don't understand, and I said this, it's like, if the choice is protecting children or being called transphobic, any sane person is like, I'll take the transphobic.
That's right, I will.
Sorry, I'll.
Yep.
If being,
Except they're
when I
not mutually
transitioned
exclusive.
7 years ago, I didn't sign up to support children being harmed.
Never.
I didn't sign up to support the sterilization of children.
Never.
If that's part of being trans, I guess I'm not even trans. Whatever.
Transitioning is an adult space. I don't care what anybody says.
The trans community don't want you, bitch. What the fuck are you talking about?
No child understands.
Oh no, what a threat. Blaire White is no longer trans, guys. Oh god, what are we gonna do?
They can claim trans all they want, but when adults are the problem, because the adults are making the choice for the children, and I keep getting in that argument with people. No, the child knows who they are. Do you have children? I do.
Right. Have you ever met a child?
Have you ever met a child? Are you around children? I coach soccer.
Have you ever met a child? They're literally brain dead. They literally have 0 brain cells. They're vegetables. They don't do anything. They don't think about anything. They're actually really fucking stupid, and you could throw rocks at their head and they wouldn't even react. They wouldn't flinch because they're just that brain dead. Did you guys know that? They're literally incapable of decision making.
Around all of these kids. Not one of them are trans, by the way. So how come all these kids that I'm around are just loving life and playing are not trans? So I believe that something is going on with these kids who are being taught to be trans kids.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And
It's a personal experience, by the way. You just happen to be around a large group of children who were not trans. I could say the same thing about like a group of white children. Well, none of them are black. Why do children have to be black sometimes? None of these kids are. It's like just because you didn't see it in that group, it's like, I don't know. It's very silly.
Being given that language.
100%. And you know, it's like just the idea that that is even the healthiest route to go for. Even if we grant them that this is they're really trans, it's like, look at Jazz Jennings.
That's right.
They always bring up Jazz Jennings, and I just want to say Jazz Jennings is currently happy and still identifying as a woman.
Multiple revisions on her sex change surgery because she didn't develop enough to actually have it. So it's like, and people always tell me to make videos about Jazz Jennings, and I don't want to because her story is so sad, and she was on camera by.
You don't want to because Jazz Jennings is currently happy, and if you asked her yourself, she would still say that I don't regret any of my decisions during these procedures, and I still happily identify as a woman, and I'm happy with everything that happened, okay? Maybe there were some mistakes along the way, but at the end of it all, I got what I wanted. And that's all that matters because it maximized my fucking happiness. That's probably what she would say to you. And that's why you'll never talk to her, despite the fact that you're Blaire fucking White. And you could talk to her on pretty much a moment's notice if you wanted to. I will bet. So go ask her yourself or fuck off because like your opinion doesn't matter otherwise.
4 years old as a trans kid. And it's like, I don't even want to. I see that story ending very badly.
It actually is very sad.
Yeah.
She's sweet. I've met her many times. She's a sweetheart. She's a really nice person, but she got duped. And actually, that's who we should be using to show this isn't what you think it is. This person will never have sex, never have orgasms, never even understand what that means. It's healthy to have orgasms.
They seem very obsessed with people having orgasms. I got news for you, bro. Not everybody wants to have orgasms or they don't value it as much as other things. But even if what you were saying is true, by the way, but like even so, what you're saying is simply not true. People who transition medically can still have orgasms. For some people, that is a possible side effect. That is something that they could potentially lose, and they're told that risk, and then they take that risk because that's what they want, you know? Like, they're fine taking that risk. Who the fuck are you to say that they shouldn't be allowed to do that? Like, I didn't get a say on my fucking dick being circumcised. But then again, I guess bodily autonomy, the right to your own body doesn't matter as long as, like, we're serving conservatives' purposes, I guess.
Important part of growing as an adult, understanding your body. And then who are we to take that away from somebody?
Insane. I know someone who...
Well, apparently you're fine with taking away their fucking free will.
Transitioned very young as a child, blockers by 12, you know, surgery by 16, and like totally stealth in life, right? Because you can't tell she's trans.
Right.
And she's happy being trans, but she has never in her life experienced an orgasm.
So there you go. But you pass amazing, and you didn't have any puberty blockers.
And thank God that I have.
True. There are trans women who can pass amazingly when they get older that were never on puberty blockers. Point. I think, you know, honestly, hot take here. I think that a lot of trans people and a lot of people that are a part of the trans community hyper focus on the fact that puberty blockers will help you pass in adulthood. What about when you're a kid? You know, like what about the depression and anxiety and, you know, potential suicidality that a child would experience as a result of not being on puberty blockers? Let's talk about that for a minute. And even if they're not suicidal, by the way, why are you okay with a child being anxious or depressed because they're trans and they can't be on puberty blockers? And let's say they're a trans girl, right? And they start growing like thick pubes and a thick beard and like their hair starts growing out on their body. And you know, they're still being forced to like cut their hair short or whatever. That's beside the point. Like their dick and balls are getting bigger. Like they're experiencing all these changes that are counter to what they want their current body to look like. And that causes what's called dysphoria. And that causes what's called suicidal thoughts sometimes. But again, even if it doesn't, they're still experiencing severe anxiety and depression much of the time. So to take that away from them is literally saying, I would rather children be anxious and depressed than being on puberty blockers. And that's insane. That's an insane thing to say.
I've experienced orgasm.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's part of being a human being.
That's right.
And I don't know what that does to a person to never experience that. And I've seen what people do on Twitter when you bring this up. People will be like, well, why do you care about kids orgasming?
Oh my God.
That's not what anyone's saying.
No,
that's a very sane, normal thing to say. No, that's a very normal thing to say.
Why your mind goes there. And then second of all, it's like, there's a problem when you have to have consent explained to you over and over again. Because there's another group of people who always have to have consent explained to them when it comes to children. Yeah. And I don't really think you want to be compared to those people. That's right. But if you keep this up, we have to compare.
Oh, good. Yeah, good. We're just going the whole groomer route. That's great. No, just say it. Just say it, bro. Just say it. I mean, just say the word at this point. Go ahead. Just say the word. Go ahead. We're just doing it.
That's right.
Because guess who also makes the argument that kids are grown enough to make the decision? Pedos. That's what they say.
There we go.
They know what they're doing. They want it.
That's right. They want it.
Yeah.
They want it.
They
Because
know
adults,
right?
Adults are making choices for kids to have sex changes. I don't care what anybody's saying. Kids aren't making those choices. Parents are doing it for their children.
They're just lying. They're just lying. Dude, fucking Blaire White knows that she's lying. She's lying through her fucking teeth.
And then there's a lot of parents who genuinely are duped.
Yep.
There's a lot of parents who genuinely are emotionally blackmailed into doing this to their kids.
I agree.
And so it's a messy gray area, and people get turned off when you say it's always Munchausen by proxy, because I don't think it is actually.
No, it's not.
It is sometimes, and you can see it when it is.
Sure.
When it's those parents that have the colored hair and the trans black everywhere.
Yes, no. So see, the way that you distinguish between whether the child is actually trans or not is see if she have that blue hair. If she have that blue hair, then actually she's grooming the child and she should be put in the slammer for 50 years, if not given the death penalty.
But, you know, in the case of Jazz Jennings, I don't know.
No. And also, I know a parent who actually told me that she's scared because she made the choice for her child. And her child seems okay, but we don't know.
Yes, a friend of mine. Yes,
happen.
very good.
But she said to me, I feel scared if I made the right choice or not.
So I'm going to be showing you how to use emoji pronouns in sentences. And if you missed the first two parts, well, click right here and, you'll...
A very good friend.
Did you know that any emoji can be used as pronouns? Shut up! No. Most emoji self-pronouns follow the same grammatical formula. However, if something does change, it'll be specified, so don't worry. For example, if someone uses they/them pronouns but doesn't want to be outed just yet, then they can use emoji self-pronouns.
Wait a minute.
Yes, this shit's kind of dumb, okay? But again, I just don't care that much.
She said, if somebody uses they/them pronouns but doesn't want to be outed, you've outed yourself. You literally outed yourself. What are you talking about?
Here's the thing. Is there any wonder why there's a 4,000% explosion in kids identifying as trans when they have little influencers like this on their phone talking about, you're trans if you use emojis?
That's right.
No.
Slay queen.
That's indoctrination.
Slay trans queen who's not actually woman, who's not actually a queen, because we're like biologically women. We're just like kind of playing a dress up costume. Literally his words, by the way, that he's just like wearing a costume. Yeah, very cool stuff.
I don't like the infantilization of trans stuff about how so many of these activists, they speak in this tone that's very
ooh, it's creepy.
Toddler like they want to, and this is one of the things that I think is creepy about Dylan Mulvaney is Dylan's always talking in this very childlike tone, this very no, I don't like it. It's like these aren't issues for kids at all.
Well, he calls himself a girl.
Right.
I mean, wow, really? Right. You're transitioning into a girl?
Day 500 of girlhood.
That's just really weird.
And I just put a tampon in my house.
Oh, I mean, wow. I mean, I don't care what Dylan wants to do. You're an adult. Do it for yourself. But you are influencing young people. So now I got to step up and say something. Leave the kids out of it.
When you're at the, that's the thing. I would have never.
Have they ever, like, they know already. I mean, they know that kids can, like, choose to be their own, I guess, for lack of better terms, choosing their gender, right? Like, they have a gender preference is what I'm trying to say. Like, they know that from personal experience, but they're just liars and grifters.
Made a video talking about Dylan
That's
Mulvaney.
right.
In fact, I refrained from making a video about Dylan until Dylan was at the White House telling the president that kids should transition.
There you go.
Then you're going to end up with
right.
Blaire and Buck.
Now you got it, my friend. You opened that door.
That is it for this video, you guys. Hope you enjoyed us watching this debate.
Thanks, that was terrible. I hated everything about it, actually. But what else is to be expected from Blaire White and her strange friend? Anyway, I'm tired. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload, and of course, join my membership program. For 99 cents a month, you can be a top G. And when I say top G, I mean top gunter. You can be a top gunter by paying 99 cents a month to my bank account. And you can be part of that program, and you can get access to early access to videos, as well as cool custom emotes that you can use in YouTube comments, not the chat. Thank you again for watching. This was a shitty thing to go through, but you know, whatever. And I will see you in the next video.